the yard of Agios Kassianos Church in the historic center of Nicosia, and I'm going to have a chat with Marissia, who is an architect and a researcher. Tell me, Marissia, what is the typical procedure you follow when analyzing a monumental building?
The typical procedure of studying cultural heritage buildings starts with visual analysis, such as on-site observation and survey. This results in the production of 2D plans, diagrams, or sketches. Then we continue with literature study, and based on both cross-referencing literature and on-site findings, we understand its structure and all the elements and the details that compose the building.
I see. And what is the end goal?
Our main aim is to analyze the design of the building in terms of morphological characteristics. Therefore, the analysis ends with our interpretation based on facts and assumptions. Through this analytical process, we can map human interventions on the building structure or stylistic influences, let's say, in order to arrive at the classification of distinct elements.
Sounds interesting and difficult.
It is.
And what type of information do you look for, and in what form do you store this and share it with others?
The architectural study is complemented with bibliographic resources and the proposed period classification of each building and building parts through the analysis of their characteristics, like form and shape, the building structure, the building material, openings, the existence of balcony, bay windows, semi-open space, the type of the ornamentations and proportions, and plan space configuration. This analysis results in 2D drawings, sketches, mesh models, and text.
What tools do you use for this?
The traditional methods of documenting heritage buildings are manual through on-site measurements, which are usually captured through vector-based and orthophotography visualization methods.
Are there any disadvantages with this approach?
Yes, the main disadvantage is using this method is that often results in data loss during the transfer of information from the building side into the 2D measurements, especially because of the difficulty of capturing and representing the physical complexity of a heritage building that involves a lot of irregular, let's say, components. But the good news is that today 3D reality capture methods such as terrestrial laser scanning and photogrammetry have become accessible to practitioners, scholars and educators.
Okay, this seems like an important development.
It is.
How accurate and useful is the 3D captured representation of a building?
Reality capture techniques result in photorealistic 3D representation of the reconstruction of complex geometry of heritage buildings, including geometry and texture. So, this 3D representation enables both experts and non-expert audiences to study and compare architectural elements, stylistic variations, and their integration in the form of the building. Laser scanning photogrammetry can be used for capturing a structure as 3D points, which are used for the accurate 3D modeling and visualization of the documented building.
Yeah, tell me more about this procedure.
It starts with the data collection, and the aim of this step is to gather multiple views of the building from various positions, let's say, along of course with basic external measurements. Then the photogrammetric software generates the point cloud, which is usually an extremely high resolution point cloud and mesh model that is not suitable for use in 3D modeling software because processing and interaction with this geometry are prohibited slow. So to overcome this limitation, the generated 3D models often have to be decimated again in photogrammetric softwares. During this process, the important architectural details are preserved from the high resolution 3D mesh model.
It sounds like a costly procedure. How important is it to have a shared tool among cultural experts and architects that allow you to query, visualize and compare buildings?
A fundamental aspect of the classification processes of architectural elements is first to identify a building's stylistic influences and function by finding similarities that are common between buildings of the same historical period. So, a tool that allows for share access and maybe includes details of the periods and location of a building would make it easier not only to avoid duplicate work, let's say, but also in making known the uncommon and the rarest buildings that can be found in cultural heritage. So this is definitely contribute to scientific excellence in architectural history, education and research.
Yes, that is true. And will it be useful to have automated suggestions for building structure and stylistic elements?
Yes, a tool that provides recommendations that assist the identification of buildings' architectural components, including their stylistic influences, would be very useful to contribute in tracing buildings' architectural layers.
Great. We have made a platform to tackle this. ANNFASS, our platform, is a tool that allows for saving, curing, and comparing buildings, and has integrated artificial intelligence methods in order to suggest stylistic and structural components. Let me show it to you.
Let's see.
Tell me, how did you find the platform?
It's great. I'm impressed by the quality of the visualization of 3D reconstructed buildings, and the textures really communicate the construction material and its condition.
Yeah, I'm glad that you like it.
Of course, tools like this can contribute to the study and dissemination of cultural heritage, and I believe that it can be applied not only to listed monuments and buildings with significant cultural value, but also to numerous cases of vernacular architecture, as well as to examples of architecture of recent past that they are not listed.
Do you think this tool will have a positive impact in your work? And would you suggest it to others?
Yes, I believe it can offer new opportunities for documenting and analyzing cultural heritage structure. I would like to use this shared access functionality in order to exchange opinions about building parts from other culture and architecture expert users. So I find it very useful the capacity to compare building assets and to understand stylistic differences and similarities in architectural styles. I will certainly suggest the tool to my colleagues and peers, especially for educational purposes.
Great. Thank you, Marissia, for all your time.
Thank you very much.